You're listening to The Reclaimed Life, a podcast about recognizing manipulation, reclaiming your voice, and rebuilding a life that actually feels like your own. I'm Rachel Paxton, an author, ordained chaplain, and certified mental health coach. And each week, I'll explore the patterns, dynamics, and turning points that help people rediscover who they truly are. Have you ever walked away from a conversation thinking, that isn't really how I see it, but never said anything? I've been thinking about that this week. Not because I think we should say everything that comes to mind, because I don't. There are plenty of conversations that don't need another word. But I've been wondering about the moments when something inside of us quietly disagrees, and we never let that part of ourselves speak. Maybe someone tells a story differently than you remember it. Maybe they describe your motives in a way that doesn't feel true. Maybe they make a decision that affects you, and something inside you wants to respond. But instead, you let it go. At first, it doesn't seem important. Maybe it isn't worth bringing up. Maybe you don't want to start an argument. Maybe you already know how the conversation will end. So you stay quiet. One conversation doesn't seem like much, but life isn't made up of one conversation. It's made up of thousands of them. And I wonder if that's how some of us slowly learn to disappear. Not all at once, just one quiet decision at a time. I've noticed something in myself over the years. I became very good at understanding people. I can usually tell you why someone reacted the way they did, what they were afraid of, what they needed, why they believed what they believed. I spent so much time trying to understand everyone else's perspective that I rarely stopped to ask what was true for me. And I don't think that happened because I didn't have thoughts. It wasn't because I didn't notice things, and it wasn't because I didn't care. It was because somewhere along the way, I quietly decided that everyone else's experience deserved more space than mine. I don't remember making that decision. I think it simply became familiar. Maybe that's why this can happen in so many different relationships. It can happen in a marriage, a friendship, a church, a workplace, even a family. Sometimes someone tells you that your perspective doesn't matter, or they don't think to ask for your perspective. Sometimes you simply become so focused on making room for everyone else's perspective that your own slowly takes up less and less space. There's something else I've been thinking about. I don't believe healing means becoming less compassionate. I still want to understand people. I still care about why they feel the way they do, and I don't want to lose that. But I've realized there's a difference between understanding someone else's experience and disappearing from my own. Those aren't the same thing. Two people can experience the same conversation differently. Two people can walk away carrying completely different memories. Making room for someone else's experience doesn't require me to abandon mine. I think that's the part I'm still learning, that my experience belongs in the conversation too. Not because it's more important, not because it's the only truth, simply because it's part of the truth. Maybe that's why it sometimes takes so long to notice. It doesn't usually feel dramatic. It doesn't even feel wrong. It simply becomes familiar. And perhaps that's why paying attention matters. Not so we can replay every conversation, not so we can prove ourselves right, but so we can gently notice the places we've been missing from our own story. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me today. Before I let you go, I wanted to share something with you. I'm currently writing my next book, When Your Voice Got Smaller, and these recent episodes have been born from that writing process. As I sit with these reflections, I'm discovering new questions, new insights, and new ways of putting words to experiences that many of us have quietly carried for a long time. Thank you for being part of that journey with me. Thank you for listening to The Reclaimed Life. If something in this episode resonated with you, you're not alone. Many people are beginning to recognize unhealthy patterns in relationships, systems, and environments, and discovering that reclaiming their voice is possible. In future episodes, I'll explore topics like recognizing manipulation, understanding narcissistic dynamics, rebuilding self trust, and learning how to create a life that actually feels like your own. If you'd like to explore more of these ideas, you can visit my website at thereclaimedlifepodcast.com, where I share additional writing, resources, and future episodes of the show. Until next time, take a moment to listen to your intuition, trust what you're beginning to see, and remember that reclaiming your life often begins with one honest question. This is The Reclaimed Life.